We've all noticed it. Ubisoft has been a talentless game company for a while now, and Assassin's Creed Shadows is just the apex of that disastrous place that Ubisoft is in, from a black samurai beating up Japanese people in Japan like they're zombies, to hip-hop music, to a whole assortment of other games that are coming out like Star Wars Outlaws, where we are getting an amalgamation of this progressive aesthetic where everything needs to be culturally sensitive to American and Western moral values while ignoring the complete values of every other society in existence. And I think that's what we're seeing with Ubisoft in the development of their games. And I think that's where we understand that the talent is gone with Ubisoft. And I'm wondering, where did the talent go? And you can see where the talent went with a new trailer for a game that is coming up from an independent developer, Sandfall Interactive, and the game is called Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and you can see the talent and where it went with the overall visual luxury of seeing this game and just the gameplay and everything that is coming together to make something that is interesting, rich, and fantasy based. And I think that's the thing that you see with this new turn-based game that is coming from an independent developer that actually likes video games. You can see their care and understanding of the history of gaming be put on display with what they're doing with an old style of gameplay that is seen as old-fashioned. And I think that is the case that we're seeing with a lot of these fantasy titles, where they're trying to turn these turn-based style games into something that is completely different. They want to make it into an action game. You see this with Final Fantasy. We just saw this with Dragon Age and what they did with that game. They tried to turn it into an action game. And I think this is the thing, fans are frustrated with these new RPGs that are coming out. They're not trying to make it based on that classic style anymore. When you see this game, Clair Obscur, you realize, okay, these guys actually know gaming history. They're trying to produce something on that similar level, and they're coming with a story that is actually interesting and engaging. If you don't know the story, it's about some sort of a monstrous entity that comes out and paints a number on the wall, and that number is the age of people that will disappear from the entirety of the planet. And you have these multiple protagonists that are trying to go out and stop this entity from painting these numbers, or else these people will just vanish into dust. And I think that is just an interesting premise in and of itself, where you're never going to get that thought process and ideal from a Ubisoft that's more focused on progressive politics rather than fantasy story-driven content. And I think that's what we're seeing with Assassin's Creed Shadows, where they're talking about freeing everything for democracy. I'm like, what? This is ancient Japan. It's not about freeing people for democracy. It's about honor, respect. It's about these things that they have no idea about. And I think that's the thing that we're seeing within this overall development of Assassin's Creed Shadows, where we're getting a game that is being produced at people that don't respect anything about other cultures, doesn't respect gaming history, doesn't even respect their own franchise that they're building upon. Assassin's Creed, knowing that it's always focused on the character of origin within that society, and they're neglecting all of that because they have their own social progressive mindset they want to instill onto the gamer. And I think that's the thing people don't like about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I think this is the opposite of what we're getting with this game that is made by Ubisoft developers, people that came from Ubisoft, that worked on Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that worked on Far Cry 3, that worked on Rayman Legends, and all these Prince of Persia's, Tom Clancy's. These are classic developers that made some of the best games for Ubisoft, and they're coming and making their own game based on their own inspirations, based on the things that they want to make. And I think that's the thing I'm champion for here with this game, besides it just looking cool and fun and the characters look interesting. And I think that's something we just don't see in gaming that much or that often at all, where we're getting interesting characters, interesting gameplay, and we're getting a world that's new and fresh, that's doing things that we've not seen before in gaming, and doing other things that we've seen before and doing them well. And I think that's the thing I love about this trailer for Clair Obscur. It was recommended to me by someone in the comments. I didn't see the trailer for it, and once I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this is my type of game. I was waiting for someone to go back to turn-based combat, and I think that's exactly what they did with this game. They went back to the roots. I think you can see this with the overall title. It is something that is ambitious and doing something that I would like to see made into cinema. I would like to read the book about this. The story just sounds fun. And I think that's the thing that is refreshing about this game. It sounds fun. It looks fun. And that's something that's not often seen from Western developers. We have to go to Korea. We have to go to China now. We have to go to Japan for something that feels fun, new, and refreshing. And it's surprising to see a Western games developer deliver that when we nary see that happening too often within the games development industry. And I like that this is coming from Ubisoft, devs that are from the mainstream games development, and they're breaking off, making something on their own. And it's not tied to any of that banking money, that investment banking money that forces these social progressive ideologies like ESG, like DEI onto the gamers, onto the developers, trying to get a social message out there. They're not tied to that, and I think that is the biggest plus to me, and I think I love that. This is an independent company producing something that they love, and you can see the different styles that fan of. You can see the Chrono Trigger, the Neo Automata, maybe Devil May Cry a little bit. You can see the elements of the games that they are inspired by, put into the trailer and made into a blend that is interesting and fun. And I like just seeing that this is inspired by other great games, and it's doing something on its own that feels inspired as well. This is a game I'm looking forward to. I'm probably gonna play it and stream it. It looks fun. It has the style that I want. Every character looks good too. They don't look like the standard DEI slop of a character design that we have. Giant chins, obese, different mixes, disabled, everything that you want in a character to check box a certain diversity quota is not there. They're just doing their own thing, and I like that about this game. It feels like those old Japanese games that you get that are just trying to make a world of their own, and I think that's the case with Clair, Obscur, and I'm happy to see a new Western games developer do this, because often or not, we never see them even try to do this. They're usually just the ones that bend the knee to whatever social progressive cause that needs to be followed. And that is not the case with this game so far. They're doing their own thing. They're making their own game. And I love how interesting it looks. And it just feels like the world is making something that is fresh and brand new that I would like to see in every medium. I'd like to see in a comic book. I like to see in a game, obviously. That's where we get it. I like to see it in a movie. And that's how engaging the story sounds to me. And I'm hyped for it. And you should be hyped for it too. I like this game. I can't recommend it enough for just seeing the trailer. I haven't played it yet, of course. It hasn't come out yet. It's a game you should keep an eye on. It doesn't come out this year. It comes out 2025. It's confirmed for that date. So keep your eye on it. There's going to be more trailers, more information. And I'm just hyped that Western games development isn't dying a quiet death that we kind of sense would happen. There's still some developers out there fighting the good fight, so we should support them. But you tell me what you think about the situation. Leave your comments. Are you interested in this game? Are you as interested in it as me? I love what I'm looking at. I like turn-based combat though, so you may disagree. So you leave your comments. Tell me what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.